Welcome to Rebellion Road, a spectacular two-day road trip through the heart of Wales, exploring epic mountain landscapes, sublime coastal roads, and a selection of fascinating sights linked to this country's proud but often unruly history.
That's right, and we're here in Knighton at the start of the Glendower's Way long-distance footpath. Now, Owain Glendower was the last native-born Prince of Wales, so we're going to be following the path that's linked to his name through such sites as the first Welsh Senate in Machynlleth. Castle is linked to amazing and terrifying battles such as Caernarfon and Harlech, and explore the mountains of Eryri, Snowdonia.
There's some great pronunciation there.
Thank you.
But to begin with, we are going to get ourselves a slap-up breakfast here in Knighton, hopefully taste some local produce and have a coffee before we hit the road.
Yeah, let's do it.
Within minutes of leaving Knighton, we were cruising along superb biking roads while sticking relatively closely to the route of the Glendower's Way. It heralded the start of one of the best UK routes we've ever ridden for ABR.
Mate, that's got to be one of the best starts to a bike ride we have ever done.
It's pretty awesome straight out the gates, eh?
Like straight out of Knighton, twisty roads, remote moorland is absolutely incredible. And it's just a taster, I think, of what we've got to come in Wales.
Yeah.
But we stopped at this stunning reservoir because not only was the road up the side of it outstanding, what a view. Should we go and take a look?
Yeah. Here we are at the Lyn Clywydog Reservoir.
That's some good pronunciation,
Yeah.
I hope.
Hopefully.
Now, I do know from looking at the display board down there that there's 50,000 megalitres of water in this reservoir. I don't quite know what a megalitre is, but it sounds big.
There's 50,000 of them in there.
50,000 of them, and what a sight, really. Wales is such a beautiful country, isn't it? I'm blown away every time I come, and all you've got to do is ride for an hour and you're just bombarded with beauty and incredible landscapes. It's oh God, it's enough to stir the soul.
It is,
It really is, yeah.
Feeling suitably inspired by the landscape, we ventured deeper into remote mid-Wales. I was on board a Suzuki V-Strom 1050 and Bill was riding Suzuki's GSX-S1000GX. Two bikes that were perfectly suited to lapping up the smooth tarmac unravelling in front of us. And while the scenery was stunning, the remote hills and mountains hid a dark and often brutal past, once being territory held by Owain Glendower as he fought his bloody campaign for Welsh independence against the English crown in the early 1400s.
So Bill, why are we walking in the middle of the road in mid-Wales?
Well, James, we're here on this road because it's about as close as we can get on the tarmac to Glendower's Way footpath, which is just in hills off to our left. And it's on these hills and in these mountains Glendower raised an army of Welsh commoners and fought the English for independence. For about 6 years, he was hiding out in the hills, waging guerrilla warfare, conducting raids into England, and evading capture until he disappeared in 1415 without a trace.
It's very cool to think, isn't it, that these hills around us were used for guerrilla warfare.
We continued north through yet more remote landscape to the ancient capital of Wales, Machynlleth. It was here we explored the 15th century building where Owain Glendower called the first Welsh Parliament in 1404, after being proclaimed the Prince of Wales, much to the displeasure of Henry IV. Today it houses the Owain Glendower Centre, where we took full advantage of the coffee and cake on offer.
And then they do say that this is the foundations of first Parliament of Wales.
Yes.
So this is where Owain Glendower came and had his little chat. And a little chat, and who can he destroy?
Yeah. The English.
Yeah, so this was built by Lord Davis of Llandinam, and then he donated it all back to the people of Machynlleth. So these are the tariffs you had to pay. You had to pay before you entered and left the town.
What's the tariff for a motorcycle?
Well, I don't know on that one.
Fueled by caffeine and sugar, we pointed our Suzukis westwards, picking up a road that wound its way along the River Dovey, tracked by a railway line clinging to the edge of the land. We cruised along a beautiful section of road carved out of the hillside alongside the water, taking us to the picturesque coastal town of Abu Dhabi. It was a change of pace and scenery, as well as a chance to fill our stomachs with a traditional seaside lunch.
When you're at the seaside,
It's only one thing to do.
you've got to have some chips. And this is just symptomatic of Wales. You know, we were up in the mountains on remote mountain passes earlier, an hour or two down the road. We're here, beautiful seaside town, bite to eat, and what a wonderful spot it is.
Surrounded by mouse-string seagulls. Come then.
Regretting that we hadn't packed our buckets and spades, we left the seaside behind and headed back into the mountainous terrain. It was a mesmerising ride along tranquil lakes flanked by rugged hills as the sun set upon mid-Wales. Life doesn't get much better. The last few miles were covered in darkness, and after a long yet brilliant ride, we were relieved to relax in the sumptuous surroundings of the Lake Vyrnwy Hotel and Spa.
Great day,
Yeah,
great ride,
great accommodation.
great accommodation.
Oh, just
I think the last thing I need is
Yeah.
a pint and something to eat.
The welcome was warm and the food was first class. But despite enjoying our evening, nothing could have prepared us for the view we were met with the next morning.
I think I've fallen in love with Lake Vyrnwy.
Yeah, I could stay here all day just basking in the views. Eh?
That is tempted, just to
Yeah.
sit, chill, grab some food, a couple of drinks. And then waking up to this is just, I don't think I've ever had such a beautiful view from a hotel room. I think this tops them all. We've had a fantastic breakfast. As much as I'd love to relax and indulge here for a few days at Lake Vyrnwy, it's time to move on.
It is indeed, and we've got a cracking day lined up ahead.
So reluctantly, I guess we've got to leave these leather chairs.
Yeah.
Just 5 more minutes.
Any regrets we had about leaving the hotel behind vanished within minutes as we found ourselves travelling through an awe-inspiring landscape, and we had it all to ourselves. And if we thought the first day's riding had been impressive, we were blown away by the roads and countryside we found ourselves exploring on day 2 of our route. But there was one place in particular we were looking forward to riding.
So we've stopped here in Barmouth, and behind me, Bill, check this out, is the magnificent Barmouth Bridge, the longest timber bridge in Wales. It's actually a railway bridge, stretches for 900 yards across the estuary. But the best news is motorcyclists are allowed to ride on it.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's a permissive path by National Rail, so motorcyclists are allowed to ride across. There are quite a few pedestrians, so take it slow, be respectful, and yeah, enjoy a pretty cool ride.
Mate, I'm looking forward to this one.
Oh, Bill, this is wicked! Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Thank you. This bump outside the toilet. Oh, that was cool. I really don't want to go back though. Everyone was so polite.
I know.
Oh, God.
With big grins on our faces, we continued our journey along the Rebellion Road northwards to the first of 2 castles we'd be visiting that day.
We've arrived at Harlech Castle, and what an impressive building it is. And there's so much of the castle remaining, despite the fact, well, it was built in 1289.
And it still stands proud atop the cliff overlooking the sea.
And the views over there are incredible. But we are here, well, to see the views, but also because we are on the Rebellion Road. And throughout this journey, we've been following the footsteps of Owain Glendower. And Owain arrived here in Harlech A couple of years after he was proclaimed the Prince of Wales, laid siege to the castle and he captured it and lived here for a good few years.
Yeah, he moved in, set up shop and lived amongst the ruins that we're standing in now.
What a wonderful place to live until, well, he was kicked out by English troops in, is it 1409?
1409, that's correct.
But it's a fantastic place to come on the Rebellion Road. What a fascinating stop.
Heading further north, we arrived at Caernarfon Castle in the northwest of Wales, which is recognised as one of the greatest buildings of the Middle Ages. Located on the banks of the River Sion, this imposing structure was built as a show of strength by English King Edward I and took 47 years to construct. It was here we were shown around by Dilwyn, one of the most knowledgeable guides you could ever meet, who told us all about Owen Glendower's connection to the castle.
But not for lack of trying, we attacked again in 1403 and 1404 under Owen Glendower. I can show you some of the defences that stop people getting in, if you like.
That'd be
There's
fantastic.
A fantastic set of defences here, which are quite unique. Have a look at this.
We jump back onto our Suzukis, our imaginations fired by tales of conquest, rebellion and bloody sieges. Our journey taking us into the heart of Unruly National Park, previously called Snowdonia. By now the landscape had reached epic proportions as we weaved our way along narrow mountain roads. Wales was putting on a show, and we couldn't quite believe the scenery we were riding through. Mate, we've ridden some sensational roads over the last couple of days, but this has got to top it all. Look at it.
This is the cherry on top. You know, Knighton feels like a long time ago, and we've done some incredible stuff since then.
I genuinely think this route over 2 days through Wales is the best road trip I've ever done for PBR in terms of just non-stop brilliant riding all the way.
It's a hell of a ride, mate.
What stands out?
Barmouth Bridge, what an incredible thing to do on two wheels.
That was amazing and I loved it, but mate, now riding through Snowdonia with the sun setting, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, maybe apart from the pub which we're heading towards tonight.
But yeah, let's get there, mate. As the sun set on another glorious day in the saddle, we rode west to our accommodation for the night and the final stop of our journey, Portmeirion, a village that needs to be seen to be believed. With the village in darkness, we parked up at the local castle and decided to get some dinner and a well-earned beer.
By the time we'd locked up our bikes last night and got ourselves sorted, darkness had fallen, and we were told we weren't staying at the castle, we were actually staying at this beautiful building behind us, the hotel, which is down on the estuary. And boy, I needed a good night's sleep after a long but brilliant ride, and what a view to wake up to.
It's amazing, yeah, we found ourselves right down at the bottom of Portmeirion. The estuary stretches out before us and the village perched atop the hill, so we want to go take a wander around. It's not open for visitors until 9:30, because we're staying here, we get to wander around before anyone else comes.
And that's one of the joys of staying at this hotel. You get it all to yourself first thing in the morning. Portmeirion was built by an architect called Sir Clough William Ellis, and it was his project between 1925 and 1975, and his mission was to show people that architecture could be fun, could be interesting, could be fanciful, and I think he genuinely succeeded. This place is incredible. Handily, the folks behind the village have created an app so you can scroll through it and it takes you on a tour building by building, and it's rather impressive, isn't it?
Well, I could genuinely spend a few days here at Portmeirion, just relaxing and soaking up the surreal, exotic and whimsical architecture and just looking out across the estuary behind me.
Sadly, this is the end of the Rebellion Road. Surreal and whimsical is the perfect description of this beautiful place. And I can't encourage you enough to go out and ride the Rebellion Road yourselves. It is an amazing road trip. We've stayed in beautiful locations, eaten incredible local food. We have ridden some epic roads through the mountains along the coast, but I think the thing I will take away with me the most from this trip is the warmth of the welcome from the Welsh people and their pride and interest in their history. It's been an incredible journey, Bill. I'm glad we've done it together.
Me too.
Until the next time.
Diolch Cymru.